All right, how about sound now? Does it work now? I fucking hate everything on earth. No sound. Ugh, God. Perhaps I'll just shoot myself. It's not fucking muted. What? We all read the literal. Oh, cool. We've got a cunt in here straight away. So when the title says journalism advice live stream, you thought, yeah, this will be about the Russian partisan doc. Cool. That's great. You're talking into my left ear only. That seems your ear, bro. I don't fucking know. I don't know how to sort of fucking thing. But I've got OBS working, so that's good. One channel only. How do I change that? Hang on, maybe I can change that. Only coming out the left channel. Alright. Audio. It's on stereo. I hate life. Well, I don't know. Why is it only coming out the left channel? Oh, hang on, wait. That might help. That might help. Is this about the Russian partisans known as Popular Front, or is this just some bullshit? Don't know, mate. You're a fucking tough guy on the internet, I see. Okay, let's see. Did that work? Is that coming out both ears now? It should do. I wasn't actually meant to do this tonight, but I accidentally fucked up the thing on OBS. It's on mono, bro. It's on it. Oh, no, it's on. Sorry, hang on. Nothing changed. Well, what can you do, really, you know? Left balance. Okay, mono. Does that work? Is that better? Is that both ears now? One ear good enough. Heenburger. I don't know, bro. Why are you causing drama? Like, it's a fucking YouTube thing. Like, relax, man. Does that work now? Is that in both ears now? Because I put it on mono. Just left still. Audio's good. Okay. So, how do I get rid of this guy, man? He's dead annoying. How do I go full? Just go full authoritarian. Get him out. Block him. I don't know, mate. Put him on a timeout. That is such a liberty. You can get put on a timeout. 300 seconds. That's brilliant. Oh, I love that. Fucking hell. Yeah, I wasn't really gonna do this, to be honest. Tonight, because I don't really feel in the mood for anything at the minute. But fuck it, I accidentally put it up, so everyone was like, "Oh, come on, do it." So I was like, "I might as well now." But it doesn't seem there's a single. I mean, if this ain't gonna work as journal advice, I'll just turn it off, because I mean, thoughts on anarchism. I mean, this isn't. Is that journal advice? No. Depends, man. Maybe I'll just lock this off. Has anyone actually got any of the questions? Maybe that first one was a fluke. And this is gonna be like, okay, finally a fucking question. All right, abort Christ, fucking hell, mate. Could you get an edgier name? How do you protect your privacy as a journalist? I guess. I mean, what do you mean? How do you protect your privacy as a journalist? I guess you mean like OPSEC and stuff like that. I think that is one of the biggest things that reporters are really lacking, especially older reporters. Not that to say that all the young ones are great, but that, you know, more likely, I think, to be involved. I think you need the best thing I would say is go on a course or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, go on a course, go on like like, I don't know, like OPSEC course. Learn about VPNs, learn about all of that stuff, because it's not really any other way around it. You have to really get involved in it. Getting doxxed is a fear of mine. Well, I mean, people will only dox you if you're an asshole on the internet, I guess. Or I guess if you mean you're like maybe an activist, that's different, I guess. Wild Arms Research and Development, no question. Love your work. Thanks, mate. That's what's his name? Jonathan Wild. He does like the 3D fucking 3D printed cannons, 3D printed RPGs. People get very scared of him. He's a really nice lad. I've had him on the Patreon a few times on a bonus episode. Really nice lad. Doing really interesting things. All legal. It's all in America. Definitely causes a lot of pearl clutching and anger and all sorts of stuff. I've always been intrigued by the photography side of journalism. Do you ever do any photography? Yeah, if you go on, hang on, I'll type it in the chat. Fuck. www. But need more. Hang on. If you check that, whoever sent me that, I'm not sure whoever sent me that, but if you check that site, that's all my photos. I used to do a lot more photos, but I got to the point where I'm never going to learn properly how to use the camera. That's my problem. And then I just started taking like throwaway 35mm cameras, and I found that was a lot easier, a lot more interesting. I hate this thing of like, you have to get the shot. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of like, you've got it, and if you don't have it, tough shit. You know, I quite like the idea of that. Yeah. Ohms, 10 quid super chat. I believe in your mission, but need more volume. For a second, I was gonna be like, I'm loud enough. I get what you mean. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, you know, more volume. I mean, if you look on the Patreon, we've got like bare minimum 3 episodes go out early on there. Bare minimum 2 bonus episodes go out on there. There's hundreds of bonus episodes on there. So there's a lot of volume on the Patreon, right? Like there. But in terms of like, oh yeah, put more. Why don't you put more doc? Oh, cool. Look at this camera. Love that. Cool. That's great. 100 quid camera. No focus. Don't worry about the focus. Don't worry about focusing. I mean, there you go. 100 quid camera. Brilliant. I love it, mate. I love it. It doesn't even focus. Fuck. Sorry, what were you saying? Yeah, more volume. I mean, the more volume thing is like, why am I got the chat on here when it comes up on there as well? I'm wasting the fucking thing. The thing with the more volume is people are like, oh, make a new doc. Like, okay, you're going to pay for it. Like, you know, not you. I mean, like, you know, when people say that, it's like, bro, like, it's very expensive. It's not as expensive as certain companies will have you believe. Like, I've seen the budgets for Netflix things sometimes, and it's absolutely hilarious. Like, it's just so funny that they think it costs that much. But it does cost a lot, you know. I mean, we make 5 to 10 grand loss on every doc we do. And only just now, YouTube has just started to let us half monetize stuff, which is like the yellow monetized. So the other day I got like, I think it was like 100 quid from YouTube via like Plastic Defense, which has, does he mean, what, is it too quiet? Volume is in sound, is it too quiet? Oh. Is it too quiet? I mean, I'm loud. I mean, I'm very loud, and it's here. Anyway, so let's have a look. So yeah, so in terms of volume, if you mean volume of documentaries, I would love to put out so much more. It's just a difficult one because it costs a lot of money and we make a loss every single time. So, and I've reached out to, you know, I had a few people like, oh mate, you know, I want to sponsor a series, you know, a few crypto people, which are cool. I know, oh, crypto's bad. I don't think it is. I think it's cool. A few crypto people wanted to get involved, and then when it kind of come to it, like never really did. It's nothing. It's not their problem. It's not their fault, but just didn't work out. And then it's, you know, so we've just had to keep going like this. But there we go. Anyway, so okay, cool. Super chats. It's actually working. I was worried that it would be like two viewers, and everyone would be like, "I fucking hate you. Fuck off." Okay, Michael Williams with the $5. Thanks very much. It said, if you're starting out, hang on, is it too loud? Is it too quiet? It's just when you lean back. Yeah, do you know what? I actually got diagnosed with ADHD last week. Yeah, mad. And everyone's like, you got ADHD. I was like, no, I haven't. But I had to do an assessment for something, and yeah, it turns out I have it. Anyway, right. Fuck. Right, do you know what? I can put the gain up a little bit. Okay, so We've got a few super chats here, so let me get through. Please remember, someone's asked me, what's your thoughts on Sam Hyde? This is journalism advice. Like, thanks for the cash, but you know what I mean? And if you think you're getting me into some kind of trouble in the internet, mate, you can fucking jog into the river. Anyway, Michael Williams, $5. If you're starting out, should you go independent or under a flag? I live in Australia and I feel Southeast Asia is undertouched for conflict journos. That's a good question. I know a lot of people now that are like, right, I want to start my own independent thing, like Popular Front. You got to remember, I had like 5 years. Fucking blind's gonna fall down. I had 5 years experience with Vice and various other well, to be honest, I mean, really, I was doing journalism for about 8 years before I started Popular Front. I had a lot of what's this shit now? I had a lot, mate. Gorilla Mind. I get more texts from Gorilla Mind than like my grandma. So I had like 8 years experience, really, before I started Popular Front. I don't know if it's wise for people to just go, let me start an independent platform. Probably not. But you can go independent. Like, definitely you can be a freelance reporter, which is the same sort of thing, independent. But a lot of freelancers then want to go into staff jobs for the security. Got a lot of friends that are freelancers who started out freelance, went into staff work, came out of it. If you're really focused and you're really about it, like you're not gonna just scroll your days away. You can be you can make money as a freelance reporter, but it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of discipline, because you have to be constantly on the work. I think it's a young man's game, to be honest. But I would say start out, yeah, you want to get under a flag probably. Like, when you say under a flag, I think you mean you want to get like a staff job. I would say start out, the way I started out was as a freelancer, obviously, because how else could I? I had no qualifications. So what you want to do, I would say, is start pitching places, come up with ideas, do your reporting. Yeah, you might have to kind of just do your own thing for a little bit. Things that you can't really do, but like big things you can't really do, but you can kind of do smaller things maybe, and then pitch it, or do a little bit of it, pitch it, say I need money for go and do this, and then pitch all of these places. I sent over 100 pitches before anyone even replied to say no when I was like 23. And then I got, when I was 23, I finally got like a big like 4-page spread in the Guardian, and that really helped me. And then once I had that, I could then use that as an example. Then I started writing for the Independent when the Independent was good. Then I started writing for, and I had this kind of like stacks of different people I would write for, but I was like at it. And it was a different kind of game back then. But eventually it got to the point where I got noticed enough to get my staff job at Vice, and then that was a big help. So yeah, I hope that helps. So I'm rambling a bit. I'm real just tired and whatever. David Grossman, I think I know your work. I'm a freelancer who's a generalist. I guess you mean you just cover anything, right? Fucking hell, there's a lot of super chats now. Thanks very much, I really appreciate it. I will get to them all. I'll write about anything, yeah. But now I don't have a niche. Makes it hard to stand out. How do you find your niche? That's a good question, man, because I really struggled to kind of find my niche. At the start, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. I was trying to be a little bit clever. I wanted to do maybe like satire type things and weird kind of shit like John Ronson, which I still kind of do in a way, but in my own more, I would say, grittier way, for want of a better word. I'm so gritty, but you know what I mean. Like, I think you have to kind of carve out your own niche, but you really have to do it on what do you enjoy the most. I started out kind of writing about this, that, and everything, but for me, I remember I was writing about like Anonymous, the hackers. I was writing about the graffiti scene in London for a bit, like Robbo. I was writing about music. I got a column when MTV Wrap Up was a thing. Guy called Joseph Patterson, great lad. He runs Complex magazine now. He's actually from my area. So he like had me some freelance work there. And eventually I just kind of realized, like, I narrowed it down and I was like, this stuff's all right, that's okay. But the stuff I actually really enjoy is, the kind of more underground, the conflicts, the kind of anywhere where there's friction. I really enjoyed that. I was like, okay, this is interesting. It feels important to me. I was really fascinated by, I kind of really started finding my niche in the whole WikiLeaks era. And that was an interesting time. One of the first things I ever did was go to Occupy London and cover that. And I'm not from London, so it took me a little while to get down there. I remember I borrowed the money from my grandma to get down there. And me and my mate Sonny Althorpe, he's got a barber. He's a great barber. He's got a barber's now in Brighton. But he was doing camera like photos, and I was like, oh, can you video this thing for me? Just come with me. And I just kind of just started doing things and just did them myself. And then, yeah, I mean, I think, sorry, I'm rambling. The way to find your niche is to find what do you really like. And I think then, kind of work out the stories that are best suited to you within that environment. Yeah. I mean, you're a generalist now. There must be something you prefer writing about. There must be something that you're like, I'm a generalist or everything, but that I like. There's no real thing as a generalist, in my opinion, because you will always gravitate. Your generalist is kind of a necessity to make money and eat. You'll always gravitate to something you really prefer, or maybe you don't, but I think most people do. I would say if you're into sports and you like that, that's always quite a good avenue to go down. Writing about sports can be a good niche to get into. I know there's a lot of people doing that, but there's also like I don't know, the kind of, from my experience, sports reporters are generally a much nicer kind of people, easier to get in with. Anyway, Disaster Tourist said, big up, mate. Just wanted to support your work. Peace. Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate that. Fucking hell, this is just jumping again. Oh, they need to have a thing where you can just look at super chats. Okay, Paul Henning, US $10, thanks. We know each other from somewhere mysterious. James Bond over here. You've offered to get a pint if I'm in your area, and I'll reciprocate by teaching you exposure, triangles, camera settings, and composition. Yeah, I appreciate that. That would be good. Oh, cool. My camera's gone blurry again. Ah, mate. I love you, Logitech, man. I'm so glad you built this fucking piece of shit camera. Fuck me. Why won't it? Well, I didn't even know it had this setting. Oh, cool. There you go. It's all blurry. That's great. We love it. Anyway. Bandit Bobby Hill. Fuck this thing. Why is it like that? Is that really jarring? It's got to be. If I go closer, mate, look how big my nose is, man. Mad. Anyway, there we go. Bandit Bobby Hill. How do you determine the images/videos you share to protect yourself legally? Is there anything you won't share? I'm a little bit confused, but I think I get what you mean. Not legally. There's nothing that's really illegal that I can't think of anything that we would share that I would think that's illegal. It doesn't really work like that. I live in a relatively free country. But what I will say is we won't share, like, a Popular Front. Things that are really grisly, really gruesome, we'll blur it, and we'll often blur faces as well of corpses. If, say, like, some civilians have been bombed, we'll blur the face, we'll blur the damage, if you like, purely because you don't want someone. I mean, at the start of the Ukraine war, some reporters were getting fucking giddy with sharing corpse images on Instagram and stuff like this, and it was a lot of independents that didn't really know what they were doing. But I don't really think that's an excuse. You don't have to, like, have experience to have some kind of empathy for the family. I mean, imagine you find out you didn't even know, or whatever. You just find out, oh, cool, someone's fucking friend, they've been blown up. Check on Twitter, and there they are, all mangled and their faces out. Like, I just think, no, you need to blur that stuff. When it's like ISIS or something like that, I mean, it's probably not correct. It's probably not ethics or whatever. I'm not too sure, but I don't think it's as important. I kind of feel like fuck them, but I think we probably would still do it in some circumstances. But everything is a case by case basis. There is no real this, and there are some, like, unwritten rules within kind of all of that, where I think who said that? You know what I mean? But there are certain rules where you really have to stick to, just based on natural human behavior and ethics, Yeah, sorry. Like I said, I'm actually meant to be working right now. I've been trying to bury myself in work because I'm a little bit stressed out. I hope that answers. If I haven't answered anything properly, please message me on wherever and be like, I literally super chatted you and your answer was shit. because I don't want to answer anything that's shit. But I'm very tired right now. I've not been sleeping. Anyway, Cormac asked, is conflict reporting the kind of thing you work up to as an end goal or jump right into? Good question. Definitely do not fucking jump straight into it. I know so many reporters that their first war was like very hard, gnarly front lines in Ukraine, and I like recently, and I just think I cannot believe that. I think that's so irresponsible, not only to like yourself, but to the people that will have to cart you out of there if you get blown up, and the kind of people you could put in danger. I really think it's. I saw a guy on Instagram the other day. He messaged me about 6 months ago and was like, "I've never done war reporting. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go straight to the front lines in Ukraine. What do you think?" I said, "It's a stupid idea." And he did it anyway. We're like, fine, it's not my problem. And luckily, nothing happened to him. And then I saw him on Instagram, like literally screenshotting the DM, showing off that he'd gone against my advice. It's like, bro, you don't have to take the advice. It's fine. And I just felt like that was like a very. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, you really, even though you definitely shouldn't have been there. Like, just this weird, bad attitude. No, not even to like, he wasn't even trying to bad mind me. He was just like, like, bro, like, whatever, mate, that's cool for you. But I think the best way to do it is to work your way up. If you want to cover front lines and conflict, a great cameraman and reporter, Phil Calla I used to work at Vice. I remember him saying to me, like, the best way is to work up through like riots. You can cover a riot, start with protests. Obviously, you don't know if a protest is going to be a riot, but you can kind of guess which area is going to be the hotter ones. Then start with that. Just get a feel for what it's like in that environment. You might even be in a riot and go, you know what? I don't like that. I can't operate in that. The war isn't for me. Better to get that feeling there than to go to a front line and be like, right, I might die right now, and I really thought I could do this, and I'm not about that. Like this, which is completely fine. It's nothing to do with bravery or anything. That's just your personal thing. I knew a reporter that worked when I worked at Vice, and she went and covered a riot in Greece, and I think she wanted to do war reporting, and after it she was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do conflict. I was like, yeah, that's a really mature way to be about it. I was a little bit immature when I was younger. I was like really wanted to kind of jump head first into wars. This is why I'm kind of giving this advice, but luckily I had good people around me that stopped me and were like, no. But yeah, I think start up there. You can start, especially if you're in Europe. There's always something kicking off in Europe. And it's not like, just to get your experience in. It's good to report on these things. If there's civil unrest, I think it should always be reported on. So, yeah, I think start there. And then maybe cover, if you can. I mean, it's money permitting, sure. But, if you can, I think it's quite good to cover kind of, not frozen wars, but ones that are a little bit less reported on, ones that are a little bit maybe more static, to kind of maybe ease yourself into it. But there's no real way of doing it. But I think that's about as close as you're going to get to a build-up, Anyway, Sorry Hat. He's a friend of mine. He's a great artist. You should check him out. Sorry Hat. How do you mentally prepare to go to some of the very dangerous areas you visit? Man, do you know what? I think maybe because I've been doing it for quite a while now. I'll be coming up to like 10 years doing journalism this year, and like, no, that can't be right. Hang on. 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fucking hell, yeah, we're coming up to 9 years covering conflict this year. I was 33 last Monday. I'm old now, so I'll be coming up to like 9 years covering war. And in that 9 years, I was on more than one front line, more than one conflict, every single year. So for the past 9 years, I have been to a war every single year, multiple times. And I have like you. I mean, someone was. What's someone having a go at me about? Because I wasn't in Bucha or something like a while ago last year. I was like, all right. I went to Borodanka afterwards, but I wasn't there on the front at the time. But over the years, I've kind of slowed it down a little bit. I have responsibilities at home. It's very selfish to just die for something that I'm in pursuit of. So I've calmed things down a little bit, and I've said this before, but I have realised that actually the very, very front line with the bang and crash is it's not as important, anywhere near as important as you think it is. There's often a lot more interesting stuff and better access slightly behind that very front. Anyway, so, and then I've covered more like kind of esoteric, it's more vague in the conflict sphere, like plastic defense. The latest thing we just did, the Partisan 22, the Russian partisan thing, that wasn't particularly dangerous. There was, there was one moment where I was like, this might be like, I mean, you have to think of the 0.01% chance of something bad happening. You have to do that. And I thought this might be like FSB or something. Am I going to get napped and then like took across the border? But then it's like, why? I'm no one, you know what I mean? I'm not an important person at all. I'm not even an important reporter in that kind of sphere of things. So I was just like, yeah, it was fine. But I guess to mentally prepare, fall back, like I look back on older experiences, but I just make sure I have the right equipment. I make sure I look at maps. I do stuff like that. I think, right, if we go in there, say something happens, say that road gets cut off, I wanna. It's when you're there, it probably won't be useful, but it at least helps you to go like, right. I know vaguely the area in my head, like topography. I know the kind of roads where we're gonna be going. If something bad happens, what's the best escape route, or this, or is there a plan? Like I make a plan in my head, like and especially like certain things like the partisan doc before I went off into the forest, and obviously there's no phones, nothing like that. I text two friends and was like, look, you don't know what I'm doing, but I'm right here. If I don't reply within 24 hours, you need to alert somebody. People I trusted. I asked two people I trust. You need to alert someone. And here's who to alert. Because some people will be like, I don't know who to tell. What are you gonna do? Call the English police? You know what I mean? It's not gonna help when I'm on a border forest near Russia. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I think you need to have all that, and that will help you mentally. But other than that, I just do research on the area, look at things other reporters have done, and often with my work, other reporters haven't done it. So it's like I guess I just kind of get everything I can in there. But I mean, I do get kind of, I mean, you do get nervous. It is how it is. Um, but you just have to kind of move past that. I guess you either do it or you don't. Next one, 20 quid mono. Thank you very much. That is a lot. Appreciate that, bro. With any luck, this September I'll be at a university abroad known for clashes with the police. Okay. You can just say Greece. I want to get footage but don't want to get arrested or bother protesters. Is it worth trying or better to leave it to proper journos? Why do you want to do that? I think is the question. Why do you want to film clashes? Is it for your own Instagram? Is it for your own vanity? Is it to help get the message of what's going on out there? If it's the latter, there's nothing to say you can't do it. Or proper journals should only do it. I think that's fine if you're involved in it, and you are not involved in the clashing, but I mean if you're there and it happens and you feel that you recording this and putting it out to the world is of value, that's fine. I think we need more. We need less gatekeeping, less ring fencing. I'm not all on board with the citizen journalism. I think there can be a lot of issues there, and there's a lot of blurred lines between activism and journalism, which I don't like at all. Generally, it gets called out depending on which conflict. If you're in a conflict where the general consensus is this side can do no wrong, activist type journalists, they get given a free pass. If it's a more contentious conflict, they don't get the free pass. I mean, journalism's a fucking cesspit, to be honest with you. But then it's hilarious that it's journalism and there's so many liars involved. But there you go. But it's also not a cesspit. There's also great parts to it, and it's very, very fun and very interesting and really important. I don't want to get too negative. Just kind of like, just seen some weird stuff over the last 6 months where I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, I would say leave it to, if you feel that if you recorded this thing, you wouldn't really know what to do with it, maybe then hit up another reporter, like a more established reporter, and say, hey, I've got this. Do you think this is worth anything? Maybe we could work together on something. Or if you just want to film it because, there's a clash, 100 people will be doing that and they're going to, do what they want with it. But I would argue that maybe you think about the context of it. One thing I will say, there's a thing that protesters they'll be out in the street smashing the fuck out of everything and be like, don't film me. Nah. I'm not an activist. I'm not in your gang. I'm not in your clique. If you're out in the street smashing shit up, I'm going to come and film it. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and a friend of mine, Dan Bateman, got attacked at, kind of attacked. I mean, the guy, he tried to attack us at G20 in Hamburg in, I think, 2018, and he's kind of, tried to punch it where he punched the camera and, little tussle, and he's kind of like, he's a anarchist guy or black bloc or whatever he was, smashing up the place, and he was like, oh, you can't push me around. It's like, mate, you just tried to smash the camera and like attack us, and you've just burnt a police car. Like, who do you think you are? Like, to think that then we can't film that? I really Crazy. The level of the ego that thinks you can do that and expect us, my job as a reporter, to go, sorry, I'll put the camera down for you as you do that. The ego, the fucking ego is incredible. You'll come across that a lot. Anyway. Oh, good. All the super chats just vanished. Fuck. Hang on, mate. One sec. I'm getting back up. This is really not good. Okay. This is good. The chat is a bit of a mess. You answered what I was going to ask, but it hardly seems fair for you to lose my fiver for that. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Someone, lad here, Joel. Jake, do you have any advice regarding people skills? I am very curious. How do you guys keep your cool when approaching potentially dangerous people? That's a good question, but I mean, I don't have the best people skills in the industry. I mean, a lot of people don't like me, and I think that's fine. A lot of people think I'm a bit of an asshole, and I am a bit, to be honest. But I'm also like very fair. I think like I'm very fair in my work, and I'm very fair in like the way I feel like I approach people outside of the industry as well. Like, I don't. I mean, you have that problem with people in the industry, but I don't have that problem with anybody that I've actually filmed with. I really feel like I try to honestly as possible, whether people like it or not, represent that person in context of what they're doing or whatever, and I really think that's important to do. You can't then skewer something, you can't skewer something because it fits what the most popular thing is or what people would prefer the story to be. You really can't do that. And I think even if I've had people that are like, yeah, I don't really like you, I don't like what you said here or how you did that, but you did kind of, you were honest with it. And I think that's all you can ask, I mean, I've spoke to neo-Nazis. Anybody knows me, I mean, there's terms of service here, I guess, but I don't like them and wish they would, be uninstalled. And I think they're awful, and even them, I've spoke to some of them before that have, for whatever reason I've had to, and I'm not going to be like, what do you want me to do? Like message them like, hey scum, you know what I mean? Hey chud, like some pathetic fucking school playground shit. I hit them up and I say like, hey, by the way, like, I'm working on this, or I'm working on this. I always kind of be like, look, I fucking hate you, I know you hate me, blah blah blah, but here's this. We both might have a shared interest in finding something out here. Not like you're fucking helping them by any stretch, but it's like, here's what it is, this, you know what I mean? I can't think of an example, but you know what I'm saying. People you don't like, you might have to talk to. I mean, there's places where to get passage to somewhere else, you have to talk to people that you really don't like. But it's not about what you like or don't like. You kind of just have to suck that one up and deal with it, But there's a real problem where there's been this real good boy points, correct opinion haver, poison that has infected journalism very much, especially in the last 12 months, where people want you to gloss over details to make it better. And a lot of reporters will literally go put themselves in danger to the field, to the front line, and still gloss over very serious details because they know that it's going to be welcomed better on Twitter afterwards or whatever. And whilst that might seem like people skills to them, well, people are going to love me when I go back, in the long run, they might like you, but they won't respect you, And I think you need a mutual respect if you're interviewing dangerous people and being around dangerous people. Now, I am just like a little fucking idiot, to be honest. I'm not like anyone that someone serious would respect in any way, but people will respect honesty, and I really do think that is important. Even like, when I went to the DNR, I remember they released all these emails saying like he lied to us because we did a doc exposing how it was like miniature North Korea. And there was not a single lie in the email, and I said, we're coming there, we want to show the real truth of how it is. The real truth was, this is a totalitarian hellhole, and that's what we showed. So, but anyway, Ed's Manifesto. Hey, Ed Manifesto. Oh, it's actually Ed's Manifesto. Fucking love Ed's work, man. Ed's a great guy. Thank you for all you do, Hermano. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that, man. And I will see you this year in Mexico, 100%. Eric, I think that's Hueca. I think I know your work. Said, just wanted to say I love your aesthetic and how well it pairs with Sam Black's music. Keep up the good work, man. Thanks, mate. Yeah, without Sam, this whole thing wouldn't be what it is. Like, really, really. Sam Black. If anyone doesn't know, SamBlackPF.com. Look at his music. He's a very old friend of mine. We're from the same area, different towns, but same district, and we've known each other since we were about 15, 16 years old, I want to say. And I'm 33 now. Sam's, I think, 29, 28. He's a little bit younger than me. Um, and yeah, we met through like kind of music scene back in the day. Like kind of there was a big grime scene in this area and stuff like that. And we've always been friends. We got through friends. I remember when I went through a period when I was younger of like kind of getting back on track to like, right, I had a period as a teenager of just being like, an angry young man. I was lost and, oh, I don't know what I want to do in my life. And I dropped out of school and got on this track of like, right, I'm going to sort myself out. I'm going to sort life out. I've got to find a career. And I was reading a lot. I mean, I've always been a big reader. I'm always going on. I'm always advocating. No matter what you do, read. I've always been a big reader. And I remember I got to a point where I was like, me and Sam were always, back in the day, we were like interested in like Occupy Wall Street type stuff. We were very much on that side of things. Back then, it wasn't a left and right thing as such. It was more a like anti-corruption, anti-corrupt government shit. It wasn't as big as I'm on the left, I'm on the right, I'm a good boy, you're a bad boy. You know what I mean? It was a lot more fluid than that. You're talking, we were like 18, 19, fucking even younger, and we were like very interested in all of that, WikiLeaks, and we were really into it. And so I started reading a lot of like more political stuff, and I remember being like, Sam probably doesn't remember this. I remember being 19 and being like, oh, what book shall I read? And he was like, read Conquest of Bread. We're not anarchists. Everybody thinks we're anarchists. We're not anarchists. I have, a lot of empathy for people that kind of push back on the state and want to do their own thing. But honestly, outside of being anti-authoritarian and strictly anti-fascist and anti-racist, I don't give a fuck. I will hang out with people from this, that, and the other. I will work with people from this, that, and the other. I just will not work with someone that's like a fucking racist or whatever. But I'm very much not interested in the kind of activism he said, she said, and all that. I have respect for people that do. It's just not my thing. I've been through that. I did all that. And anyway, so Sam was always like really cool there, and we were always like talking about like we got to a thing where we would just start sharing. I remember it's kind of corny. I was like, oh, I just read 1984. What do you reckon's next? Oh, read Brave New World. So I read Brave New World, and then I looked bro, you got to read Fahrenheit 451 or whatever it is. Oh, okay, I read that, and then what's the next? And we were like really interested in that. We'd always have these kind of like quite big like political arguments just between each other, but always stayed friends. And Sam has always been making music on his own just as a hobby. So when I started Popular Front, I was like, mate, like I want to do this in a very different aesthetic way. I need this kind of music. I need this. And he was just like, bam, here's everything. And like every week he just sends me like 20 beats. It's just, he's fucking great, man. Any doc we do, I have an idea, I have a feeling for it, and I say, Sam, this is how I want it to be. This is the kind of footage I think we're gonna get, or here's what we got. And he just does it every time. Like he gets it every time he gets it. It's great, man. And I'm acting now like I really hate talking like this now. I'm sounding like, oh, I'm so clever. I mean, there's nothing like that original with Popular Front. I think it just works. Like I'm fucking like, oh yeah, man. Like I'm David Lynch out here. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that, but I just love the like thing we do when we work together like that. And if you look at Plastic Defense, I think that's a very good example of how everything just works. The music works. The music sets the tone of the doc. I wanted this eerie, creepy, clandestine kind of feel. Anyway. Yeah, so, hey Jake, love your work. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that, Mr. Shoot. Cormac, thanks for your answer. Here's another 5 because your work is great. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. And anyone doesn't know, this live stream shit, I think I'm going to do a little bit more often. Because when I did one the other day on a random one, we got like 400 quid. YouTube vanished it for about 3 weeks, but we found it, everything's sorted. We're going to get the money. We haven't got the money. Well, we made about 450, 60 quid in super chats. So I thought, great, that will pay for our next documentary. That will pay for the flight tickets, wherever. Then YouTube takes so much from it that we ended up with like 280, which is still good, you know what I mean? But anyway, hopefully, I think doing this, hopefully will help fund docs. Don't get me wrong, Patreon's, it's not like that's going to go anywhere, but, it's For every 10 members we get, we lose 10. You know, it's kind of here, there. And I get it. It's, you know, times are hard. People are just saying, like, bro, like, you know, cost of living. It's like, totally understand. So we're thinking if we can get a little boost with stuff like this, why not? And it's kind of fun, you know, it's quite fun. I like doing it. And it's like, again, remember, like, this is advice, but this is just after like 10 years doing this. It doesn't mean you have to take it. It doesn't mean I'm right. Other reporters will be like, no, that advice he gave you is shit. Maybe it is, you know, maybe I don't think it is, but maybe for certain things it is. So take it as you want it, but it is how it is. There's a question here. I will answer the super chat, Carolyn Murray, but one second, there's a question here, which is, so basically, you're an average college journalism student, including myself at 19. Me? I don't know. I won't call myself an average college journalism student, to be honest. Maybe, but no, I definitely hope I'm a bit above that. Not above, but like progressed further than that. Sorry, here's the question. Do you have medical training and do you bring a medical kit into combat zones? Very, very good question. I do. Actually, if you go to the patreon.com/popularfront, we have a series called Too Cool for J School. It's just like a cheesy joke. But J School being journalism school. I never went. And the idea is if you watch the series, you don't have to. No, I don't mean that. But it's like it will give you ideas. And we actually have one of our friends, Teddy. She's a medic. She was actually a US medic in like, you know, proper. And she does like street medicine and stuff like that. It clashes when people get injured. We have like a whole series on the Patreon of like more succinct, not just me either, like various different people giving advice on what to take into a combat zone, what you absolutely must have, the kind of medical training you need. So if you look at that patreon.com/popularfront, it's the $10 tier, Too Cool for J School, you'll get all of that. Obviously, I'm going to answer that anyway, but just if you want a little bit more. So, do you have medical training? Yes, I do have medical training. Actually, I need to book a new one this year. I need to do a refresher, my first aid. There are so many reporters that will do the first aid course once and never do it again. You must stay on top of that. Farat Batman told me that. You must stay on top of that. My friend Farat, he's a medic. He's a fighter, but he's a medic in Syria, also a fighter. But he was saying like the speed at which things can change, new equipment, you have to stay on top of that, and the speed at which you forget things. It's really true. You do need to stay on top of that because you might be able to save your pal's life if something bad happens. God forbid, but it might happen. Or anyone's life, you know, like a soldier gets killed in front of you. If no one can help him, medic's not there. Maybe if you have a little bit of, well, I know this, I can do this. Even if you know how to put on a tourniquet, absolutely vital. You can, if you check out Risk, RISC, they do have courses for free for freelancers, like, or very cheap. I got onto one of the courses there once, but I had a visa issue, so I couldn't do it. Then I had to do visa issues, my fucking, you know, story of my life. But then I did one through, I forget who, but I tell you what happened. I think it was Jack Losh got me on it, or someone got me on it. Hit Jack Losh, great reporter. Hit him up if you want cheap freelance HEFAT training. HEFAT being hostile environment first aid training. You must do that before you go to the front line. If you don't do HEFAT before you go to the war, you're a fucking wally and you're a liability to everybody around you. So please do it. I'm sorry if I'm talking to people like I'm your dad, because I'm not. I'm not your dad, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's important. I've seen people out there just with equipment that just makes me think, are you joking? You know, yeah, you need that shit sorted. You need to get you need your, just Google it. Google like HEFAT. They'll tell you what to do, because there's no point me telling you buying the equipment and not doing the course. You need to be able to use it. I know I've heard of instances where people have had the tourniquet but not know how to use it. So yeah, you have to get on that. Carolyn Murray asks, are you ever concerned about authorities in the countries you visit wondering why you're there? Were you worried about getting followed for Partisan 22, for example? Yes and no. Depends where you go. The country we went to for Partisan 22, it was okay. It was okay. Everything was okay. I don't really want to say why and expose anything. Not that we had any contact with the state or anything, but it was the kind of country where you're going to be fine. Like, you know, it's open, it's free. But we did everything we could to hide the location, because we don't want anyone in that country to know that X person is either going in and out or whatever. You know, there are, believe it or not, ways in and out of countries that are not official, you know, even in Western countries. Not that we did that, but you know what I'm saying. You want to kind of keep an even keel on everything. But yeah, we have a strict like no social media rule, stuff like that. We do. I mean, I can say it. We do like red herring stuff as well, which you'll never know. But we do red herring stuff as well. I think, you know, I've heard other reporters say to me we shouldn't do that. I think it's important for a reporter to protect their source, and if you have to go above and beyond and do a little red herring funny type stuff to do that, you're not tricking anyone other than the scumbags that might look for such a person. I saw in that Tracker Nazi Merc Telegram chat, which is a very funny, basically like a lot of extremely racist right-wing people that are pro-Russia are calling anyone that fights for Ukraine a Nazi. They actually called Dan Nui a Nazi, who is a leftist Jew and is fighting for Ukraine. They called him a Nazi, which is very, very funny. But anyway, so that chat was like, oh, we've seen this. We're going to locate where that was. Where was Jake Hanran? They were talking about this Partisan 22. I saw it and I was like, okay, good. It's okay. But yeah, you got to take you got to be very careful. No fucking social media and all of that. Yeah, anyway. Any women conflict journalists that you recommend? Absolutely tons. First and foremost, I always say Hind Hassan. Check her out. Old school like Lindsay Hilsum, I think, is really cool. She works for Channel 4 News. She's great. I was going to say Sally Hayden. Sally Hayden's not really a conflict reporter as such, but she works within that realm. And she's incredible. There's a lot. Yusra El Bagir, I believe her surname is. Yeah, there's some good people, good women out there. Women, man, whatever. If you're a good reporter, you're a good reporter. But yes, I get your point. Where are we? Superchats does a lot of them, man. Shit, I need to find them. Okay, I found the next one. Mr. Shoot. Hey Jake, do you have any topics outside of conflict that you would like to do a piece on if you had the time or money? Yes, I do, but this, not to be rude, I really appreciate it, but the topic of this is journalism advice. I do actually. I have a whole series I want to do that essentially would be Gargoyle, you know, my book, but in a series form. I've been thinking probably won't be called that. I was thinking of calling it Away Days. Remember Louis Theroux's Weird Weekend? That, but my style of journalism. Kind of kitchen sink it, you know, like underground shit, stuff like that, weird stuff. Like I would love to do a whole series. I have it all planned out, but I need about 200 grand to do it, and I definitely do not have 200 grand. So you know, and I would do it very proper, very nice. It will look unlike anything. Yeah, I would love to do that. Essentially, I would go to, you know, various. Well, I'll give you an example. One episode, there is someone will steal this. Fuck it, whatever. There's an episode there is a husband and wife bare knuckle fighters that participate in a underground fight club. I would love to spend a weekend with them in their house, seeing their home life, then follow them to a fight, the underground fight, the fight club. It's very ratchet, old school, on concrete, no rules, blah blah. I'm sure people can work out who this is I'm talking about, but if you can't, good. I would love to do a doc like on that, you know what I mean? Like that would be one episode. A next episode, I was watching this crazy, I don't know if this would be an episode, but it was very interesting. I was watching this thing about how the kind of tech boom within sex robot industry based purely on, because there's so many like lonely young men out there, and it is very vast majority lonely young men. As funny as that sounds, I would really like to kind of comment it in an empathetic way, be like, what the fuck is going on, you know, like Weird Weekend type shit that gets a little bit deeper than giggling. Not that I love Weird Weekend, I'm not saying this, but I'm not going to go there to giggle at someone and be like, oh, this is weird, you know. It's like, this is fucking weird, or this is gnarly, or this is dark, or this is underground, but here's what's what. Another example, I found this cool story about a guy that was like one of the last LSD underground labs producers in his country, which if you knew the country, you'd be like, what? So yeah, things like that. Anyway, next on. Can you do a documentary on the cat boy Jake phenomenon? Oh, there is no phenomenon. Basically, someone in the Popular Front Discord put like cat boy ears on me in a picture. and it just keeps rearing its head, man. It's so fucking dark, man. The Popular Front Discord is just a place where I just get bullied, basically. Keep up the hard work, homie. Alexia Hernandez recommended women in conflict journalism. Follow, I already did that. Just did that. Okay, so where are we? I just graduated. So these are strange questions, and I don't mean this in a rude way. I just graduated college, and I am starting work soon. How can I get started in freelance journalism? So, I'm presuming you went to college for journalism. If they didn't tell you how to get started in freelance journalism, I don't know what to tell you. Jesus, man, and I believe that is possible. I know. I remember I used to work with this lad that was he he was bragging about getting a degree in journalism at the place I interned in when I was very young. And I remember another lad there was just like, mate, no one gives a fuck about your degree, which was really funny. He was actually a nice guy, which very rare for me to say someone that brags is a nice guy. Actually, he wasn't a nice guy. He was a cunt. But he kind of seemed like a nice guy when you really kind of got chatting to him. He's okay. He wasn't a good guy because he then left that place and just chatted shit about everybody. He didn't even chat shit. He was just like, they didn't appreciate my work. Sorry, fucking Da Vinci. But anyway, he was telling me one time, I remember he was like going on about his degree as well, he ever spoke about. And, I was very young and green at the time. I was like 21. And I was interning there for like I was doing it for free first of all. And then I was working there for like 800 quid a month in central London. Mad. But it was my first journalism job. So, what could I say? I was so happy. I just come from like a building site and call centers and, all of this kind of jobs, which I didn't want to do, to then getting my first as a sub-editor. Anyway, and this guy was saying about his course, and it boiled down to, I was like, what did you actually learn? And it boiled down to, he learned how to not get sued for libel, and that's basically all he learned in seemingly the whole time that he studied. And I just thought, Jesus Christ, man. And he had no people skills. Fuck knows what he learned. Anyway, so the question was, how do I get into freelance journalism? That to me means either the university didn't teach you shit, so you need the help. I don't know these days. I mean, everything does change, but here's what I did. So I found what I wanted to write about, and I found the kind of what I felt were maybe like gaps, things that are not being reported on that much, or just like interesting stories within a bigger story. For example, the first big spread I got in The Guardian, it was in the midst of the Libyan revolution, and obviously all the war reporters are reporting on here's the war, here's this, here's that. Very important, real good work. Obviously I couldn't afford to go out there or anything. I'd never been to a war, so I wasn't going to do that. I was like 22, 23. I was like 22. Nah, man, I would have been, 22. Anyway, and I found a story about a group of Libyan skateboarders who basically took over a mansion that was built by a corrupt politician who'd stealing money off the people. And he had this beautiful pool in the back garden, and they destroyed they took apart the pillars of the house and turned the pool into a skate pool, and it was just incredible, and the photos were amazing. So that really dinged for me, because they were like, okay, Libyan war, but no one's telling the thing about, that's a very human side to things. Skateboarders in the midst of it, there was like bullet holes all in the walls, and they're skating, and great story. I love that. I will never forget, it was one of the worst headlines I have ever seen in my 33 years of existence. It was a story about skateboarders turning an abandoned mansion that was obtained with ill-gotten gains from a corrupt politician into a skate park. And the headline they went with was "Skate and Create." Man, it's like depressing to think of. It's just unbelievable that someone would do that. It was in the G2 part of The Guardian. I remember looking at it and was like what? But it didn't really matter. I fucking was so into it, I mean, you would even at the very corniest, you would call it like skate rebels in the Libyan war. You know, fuck me, skate and create. Wow, wow. But anyway, it's okay. It got me places. But yeah, anyway, so fucking veered off here. My point was try and find like the kind of niche stories I think, or at least not niche, but like something a bit different within a bigger story. You're more likely to then get a commission. To be honest with you, you really are. Because they've already got staff writers covering all the proper. You know, if you're a freelance reporter and you go to the front lines in Ukraine and you're like, here's a story about, um, but there's no way they don't have a staff writer that's already done it. You know, so you need to find something different. I one of their best stories I saw. Yeah, great war reporter. Someone's asking about female war reporters. Daphne Wesdorp, very very good. Um, she Michael Williams said skate and create porg. Anyway. um she had a really cool story. Actually it wasn't published, I won't mention it. But anyway, like finding like unique stories within a war is very important. To build sorry, unique stories within a bigger story anywhere, not just war, is really important for a freelancer. And then you need to work out how to pitch. Now, I am very bad at pitching. I always have been. I don't know why. I just find it hard to sell the idea. I kind of want to be like, I know it's going to be good and you're going to love it when it's done, but just let me do it. And thank God I don't have to pitch anything now because I do. I mean, I still do a lot of freelance work. Actually, what am I on about? I got like, you know, I do all this stuff with iHeart and stuff like that. But I don't have to pitch like I used to because you have a little bit of a track record. It's obviously going to be easier with anything, you know, to then get a commission. But you do need to learn how to pitch. I won't go into that. Like I said, I'm shit at it. I'll tell you someone who's good at it, Danny Gold. Me and him were talking about maybe putting together some. Was this? Oh, that's why it's like that. Putting some kind of like workshop together at one point. I don't know what happened to that, but I have to ask him. But anyway, yeah, Danny Gold's good at pitching. I've read one of his pitches before. Can't remember why, but I did. He's good. If I remember, Sally Hayden's really good at pitching. Yeah, I used to work a lot with her in Vice. Just think phenomenal reporter. She's just so good. And I tell you who else. I don't know if she's still doing journalism. I think she does like more journalism education. But Jenna Cordroy is amazing at stuff like that. If you can look her up, she's the queen of FOIA stuff, FOIA requests. She wrote a whole book on it. Literally, put her name like Cordroy. I think it's like the trousers. I'm not sure. Jenna Cordroy. Anyway, look her up. I used to work with her. Fucking amazing. Anyway, I'm my brain is like blitzed. I don't know. I can't keep on track about anything. Sorry. Yeah, anyway, you get my drift. I forgot what I was saying. Where are we? Okay, super chat. I love the work you do, and I'm. Where's this from? Michael Edelson. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I love the work you do, and I'm starting my own journalism project in the form of a video magazine. Video magazines need to make a comeback. I got a big plan for a video magazine. But you need money. I won't be covering the same sort of content, but I really appreciate how your work ethic and approach. I don't know if the question was cut off there, mate. If the question was cut off, send me like, I don't know, 10 pence and put the question in again, so I definitely see it. What's going on here? Someone just here says, I think that's the person that asked about how do I get in freelance journalism, says I got my degree in engineering. Bro, pursue that. Trust me, pursue that. That's great. Engineers are just incredible. Great work. Joshua Malloy. I love this guy. This guy's great. Appreciate your work. Thanks for all you do. Check him out. I don't want to bait up what he does. I don't know. Check him out. Not sure what he says publicly or whatever now, but he's great. Joshua Malloy. Yeah, very good lad. Tips, super chat, $20. Thank you so much. Tips for finding/analyzing the weird online spaces that some of your investigative pieces have revolved around. Telegram, 098, etc. That's a good question, man. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Like, how did I get to them bits? Let me think. It's tricky because my whole life I've been interested in like weird, esoteric. Oh, this is great. This guy said, "Oh, I love this." So some guy called Tom, obviously is anonymous. Nothing freelance about this prostitute. That's fucking beautiful. I love that. I'm a prostitute who has worked for, he's obviously gone on my website, HBO, Vice News, Esquire, Frontline PBS, ProPublica, BBC News, The Guardian, and Wired. I'm a prostitute. There's nothing freelance about this. It's kind of funny if you don't realize that you can work for all of those institutions as freelance, but okay. There's only 2 of them I worked for as staff, which was Vice News and HBO. All the rest were freelance. Obviously, he's angry, but thanks, bro. We appreciate it. Prostitute. I love that, man. I need to get that as like a Velcro patch. So how to get the weird online spaces. I've always been interested in weird, like kind of esoteric, strange, like stuff my whole life. Literally, even when I remember my dad let me watch X-Files when I was like 4 or 5, really young, and and I was just blown away like immediately. And I guess that kind of made me interested in stuff in a way. That's the earliest thing I can remember, to be honest. That kind of eerie, getting that eerie vibe for things. And I think no matter what you're looking at, there's kind of an eerie thing that draws me into things, or even like this kind of the hidden thing. When I say esoteric, I don't mean like, I mean, some people are going to think I mean like wizards and stuff. Like, no, like esoteric just meaning like the hidden kind of stuff, you know. And I think there's an esoteric part to everything in life, every society. There's always like, you know, if there's a guy that works on a building site, there's some circuit on the building site where, you know, I remember when I worked there and you would get like, for example, illegal diesel, you know, the way to turn red diesel into clear diesel. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So there would always be a guy that would come and do stuff like that. There's always like a hidden part to everything, and I find that the most interesting. I don't really know how to describe it. I've just come to say like I cover war and underground activity, which sounds cheesy, but I guess I'm a bit cheesy. I'm a bit of a cheesy guy now and then, which is, I think, it's fine. I'm not scared to be cringe, you know what I mean? But I don't know how else to explain it. Like, yeah, like underground activity, underbelly type reporting from the outskirts, always been what I'm interested in. And the reason I'm interested in it, because you meet like really interesting people, you find really interesting stuff, and there's a lot of other people out there that also want to know about it. And I've not given you any advice on how to actually find it. I don't know, because I just kind of have found it. I guess recently I've been like scanning Reddit for like weird things that I might find interesting. Like there's always, you know, like I was really interested in reading the kind of it's not recreational. So it's basically like a subreddit for fentanyl addicts. Obviously they're not recreational. That's insane. But you know what I'm saying? There are people that are like, some of them are kind of, obviously not, I'm sure not internally, but like outwardly are kind of basking in the sort of like fentanyl addiction. They're like, check out my haul, like, and obviously we've always seen that with the heroin, but when it's fentanyl, like fentanyl is just such a brutal, evil thing that you can just OD on so quick. I shouldn't be, but I was actually surprised to see like a fentanyl subreddit. Like, I was like, fucking hell, fentanyl. So I think I'm gonna write something on that for Gargoyle 2. In fact, I got a publisher for Gargoyle 2, an independent one based in Germany and Australia called Soyos Books. So shout out to them. But now I've just got to write the fucking thing. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, Tom. Oh, it's the prostitute guy. Fucking legendary. I love things like, I don't know why I like a fucking sadomasochist. I find things that are very funny, because this guy, I'm about this guy that's insulting me. Like, come on, man. Big man on YouTube Q&A. Like, get a hobby. Acquire one. Next super chat, Michael Edelson. No question, just wanted to say hey, thank you, mate. I just got into a program that allows to fund this project and would love to talk shop someday if you're up for it, mate. That's incredible. If you can find something that can fund what you're doing, that's very cool. If you check out, for example, Modern Insurgent, I believe they got some funding through their university or something like that, and it's helped them go this and this. I never had a funding from shit other than Patreon and a few independent sponsors. I don't even checked if they're still paying us, to be honest. But yeah, like it's great if you can get that. I honestly, like, yeah, hit me up, bro. Like jake@hanrahan.tv. I find it very difficult to. I've been involved in talks with people about funding this, and then I always find out that they're associated with this one or that one, and I'm like, I don't want any involvement with like anything that's remotely involved with the state, with the government. I just don't want that. I just don't like that, you know. I mean, I don't think it's always necessarily bad. I'm not one of these guys like, oh, psyop, everything's a psyop. Obviously, I don't think that. I mean, obviously everyone knows Popular Front's a psyop. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not that guy, but sometimes it's just like, I don't want that, you know? I don't want any fucking involvement with that, because I don't want... What are you going to do then? Like, oh yeah, like what if that state then... I'm talking about things that I think are not that bad. Like, for example, I think Canada has like a really good, like kind of grassroots fund that the government or someone else puts together to help up and coming reporters or something like that, media, I forget. I don't know the exact parameters right now. I'm sure that's fine. I'm not like that ridiculous, like, oh, that's terrible. But I don't want anything associated with the state or some fuck up guy, you know. So anyway, someone said, love your work. I always check your coverage for anything in the world. Thank you. That's really cool. I like that. Big up to the Irish last name as well. Hanrahan. In love with George Jutval's art style. Thank you for putting me on. So am I, man. His work, man. I want to make a video game with his work. I got it all planned out in my head. I've never spoke to him about this. I've only ever spoke to him like 2 or 3 times. But yeah, his work is amazing. And if anyone's hasn't checked his work out, I don't think he has a website actually, but you should check it out. Check out his socials. Huff. Oh, sorry, Dr. Bleed said, Ayo, no question today. It's just good to see you, mate. Again on a live Q&A. I just joined to this one by accident. Anywho, go Popular Front, go. Thank you, mate. Appreciated very much. It's very cool that people want to do that, you know. Is there anyone? How many people are watching? Shall I cut it or what? Let me have a look. I cannot believe. I mean, actually, I was gonna say I can't believe that it doesn't tell you on what is this, OBS, how many people are watching, but I guarantee it's because I'm dumb that I can't see it. It tells you the chat, so that's fine. 139 watching. Oh, okay, that's okay. That's not bad. My battery's about to die though, and this laptop I have here only has 2 ports, so not sure what to do. I guess I'll go to the battery dies and then that's that, innit? Or if people are not interested. If there's any more questions, let me know. So, yo Jake, hope you're doing good. Oh, this is from Mikko. He's a great guy. He's from Denmark. Yo Jake, hope you're good. Obviously, you're doing independent stuff, but what is in your opinion the best things you can learn from traditional media as opposed to doing independent and freelance? Good question. I think the good thing about traditional media is you can kind of learn all of the stuff, the tools you need to then take with you to then do independent. Now, some people don't need that, and that's cool, but I did need that. Like, I knew I did video editing before I ever worked at Vice. Like, I was editing, like, footage of me and my friends, like, skateboarding or, like, fighting or, like, not, like, you know, like, whatever, like, yeah, I guess just being fucking lunatics, I guess, when we were, like, 12 years old, like, man, we were mad at that age. You know, like messing about, like whatever. And, you know, we were like editing little clips of that together. And I was doing that on like Windows Movie Maker when I was literally 12 years old. I used to, like, God rest his soul, like my granddaddy died, but he's the best guy ever in the world for me. And he had this like digicam, I don't know, it was like 420p or something. And I would like sneak it out of the house, man. I feel bad for that still, but I would like sneak it out of the house and like, we would film us skating or like starting fires, like not literally fires, like, you know what I mean? Like, we used to like, I remember we had this one friend would always like set a little bottle on fire and then throw a condom full of petrol at it. And then, you know, it wouldn't set fire. And then in the you're talking about in the field, boom, up it went. And then we'd film that, like edit it in with our skate footage. I don't know, man, we were weirdos. But yeah, like stuff like that. I was always doing that, you know, I was doing that from very early. And I taught myself a lot of stuff, but when I started working at Vice, I realized I didn't know anywhere near as much as I thought I knew. You can get in a trap of thinking, you know, don't ever think you're too smart, you know. Like, I know certain people that they've got their own independent platforms and then they just think, everyone else get fucked. I kind of make the joke, you know, like I'll be, you know, even when I tweeted this out, I was like, advice for up and comers and, you know, reporters at New York Times. Like, obviously that's a joke, you know. I'm sure someone will see that and be like, fucking prick, I hate him. It's fine. But I think, you know, I'm just joking. Like, you know, we're a little bit against this and that, but really, like, it's all in jest a lot of the time. I don't think there's, you know, it's not like, I can't learn something from a big media outlet. Like, I learned so much from Christian from New York Times, actually, who does the not OPSEC, the kind of investigations. Haley as well. She's great. She works on his team, and I can't remember anybody's surname. Mad. Anyway, but yeah, you can always learn from big media places, and I think if you go in there, you can then, take what you can from it. Get what you can out of school as well. I know that it depends where you live and what kind of school you go to. My school, well, my school, my school's shut down now. It's a different school within that building. You know what I mean? But the school I kind of went to was actually shut down. But my school didn't really offer anything to do with media or anything. But I do know that there are schools, even state schools. Obviously I went to a state school. Like, I'm not saying that, it has to be like a great private school. There are like really good state schools that actually do like media and stuff like that. So if you can get into that, definitely do that. I think America have a lot more of that, and I think the young generation are doing a lot more with that as well, like teaching each other stuff. So do that, but you will never get. I don't think First, you will never get the same kind of experiences going out there and doing it, but also you will learn things from like seasoned professionals if you can get a job working with a big media company, for example. PD187 said they didn't offer media because you're old. Man, yeah, true. I'm 33 now. Like, basically, it's over. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, whatever. Get what you can. I learned how to be a producer at Vice. I remember one thing I really struggled with when I started at Vice News was how the fuck to be a producer. I remember just thinking I'm never gonna get this, and then one day it clicked, and now it's like breathing. Honestly, when I'm doing the job, it's like, oh yeah, of course you do this, you do this, you do this. But that I learned from other people, just watching. I really utilized my time well. I had a lot of fun, but I also really focused. I used to go in and sit in the edit. Like, a lot of reporters wouldn't do that. They would just let the editor edit their thing, and I would sit in the edit and I'd watch the edit. Also, I liked all the editors. I got on really well with them. They were like my best friends there. But I would sit in the edit and watch the edit and like work things out there and be like, okay, so he's done that. Okay. So I learned a lot from that. But yeah, man. Anyway, I'm fucking waffling. Oh shit, $50. Wow. Okay, mate, that is very generous. I hope you can afford that. And no question, love your work, mate, Chris. Thanks, mate. That's crazy. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate that. All right, this is just turning into people are asking just Q&A things. I mean, this is just journalism advice. I kind of want to keep it within that. I kind of do. I don't really want to just start like, what did I eat for dinner? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Someone, Mono said, if you're trying to do an NCTJ accredited course, the West Midlands is a complete desert now. Last one closed this year. Yeah, there you go. There's a good point there from Mono. So certain places in Britain, if it's not London, good luck trying to get like on proper media stuff. London really is the epicenter of journalism in media in England. It really is. I mean, there are other places. Leeds is pretty good, but I mean, like, for example, Channel 4 News, I think they have like a bureau in Leeds now because they want to seem like they're not just London centric, and they're kind of diversifying and trying to be regional. Fucking, it's just a satellite. Like, nothing of worth comes out of, not to say the people that are there aren't of worth. It's just Channel 4 is still very much focused on the London branch. You know what I'm saying? The same with like the BBC moved a load of people up to Manchester. Everybody knows London is still the centre of the BBC. It is how it is. They can move the buildings and put people here and there, but without actually changing the culture, it will never change, and it's never going to change. It's never going to change. So if you're talking about Britain, you have to be in London, really. Even I had to. I never actually lived in London. I used to travel in. I only live like an hour from London on the train, and I got extremely adept at train surfing. But yeah, you can't even do that now. It's very difficult to do now. But yeah, probably shouldn't give that kind of advice. But yeah, like, it's very difficult in England now. So honestly, like, you kind of got to go to London, man. And I know people say I can't afford it, and I get it. No, I tried to start a fund last year. I had this thing called the Hanrahan Foundation. I just didn't come up with a better name yet, but that was the kind of project working title. And my idea was to start a foundation where we get, I needed like a load of wealthy people to donate to it. So we had a slush fund. So we had a pot of money. And the idea was to help working class people in media, but not just like, oh, we'll fund your cool film. The idea was like, hey, do you need money for food whilst you're an intern in London? Do you need money for the train? Do you need money for the tube? Do you need a place to stay? Maybe we can help you with that. Because I realized when I started working in London, man, I was so unbelievably broke. It was crazy. I was sleeping on the floor of my friend's university dorm, and that room itself was like barely bigger than this office room. It was crazy, man. I mean, and it, you did what you had to do, but I mean, I'm talking like, stealing fucking lunch. It was embarrassing, to be honest. But yeah, and so I wanted to start a foundation where someone could apply and say, hey, I need $3,000 to afford my trains for the next 4 months whilst I'm doing an internship at The Guardian or wherever. Because believe it or not, surprise, these big entities, whilst, I mean, The Guardian's always asking for money. The Guardian is absolutely loaded. They've got lots and lots of money. They don't actually then help the people that they don't give them enough, because they don't understand how expensive it is to live if you don't have mummy and daddy backing you up. So my idea was to award people, like, not just me, I'd get all people working out on it and give people money for things like this. And I thought it would have been great. Everyone I approached to be like, hey, do you want to add something to this fund? I need this kind of money for it. Just no one was interested. I mean, they were interested, but no one wanted to actually put their hand in their pocket. So it is what it is. So I just folded that idea. If I ever get rich, which is impossible, I think, unfortunately, maybe then I'll start it, but we'll see. Next super chats. One of the super chats is a GIF. That's cool. I like that. Thank you very much. Fucking hell, $49 US. Are you sure about this? And then thank you. And then Amelia Me says, a drink on me. Thank you. Appreciate it a lot. I got 50% battery left, so I'd say we got like 10 minutes of this left. So if you want to get your super chat in, do it now. Or if you want to get your question in, do it now. But yeah. So like, this is the question. This ain't really for that. I will do more live streams if people do want to just do the Q&A about war stuff. But someone said, any thoughts on the recent attacks in Israel? Yeah, like, obviously, but this ain't what this is about. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep the lives. I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm so cool, listen to me. Like, I want to be like, here's some actual use for it. You know what I'm saying? But I will do the Q&A again. I mean, I guess people are interested in it. I was so surprised that people were super chatting and that, so it's very cool. You're a beautiful person. I don't know about that. I appreciate you when you talk. That helped me out a lot. Thanks. Good. That's what I want. If it helps, it helps. A lot of people help me coming up. I heard of someone the other day said they were my mentor, but I've never had a mentor in my life. But yeah, a lot of people help me a lot. And if I can help anyone with anything, that's fine. Okay, here's a good question. How do you initiate contact as a journalist with some of the groups and individuals that you've interviewed? Many of them must be reticent at first or wary of law enforcement. Yeah. Leander Flynn, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. It's a totally normal question. Obviously, it's not like, oh, I'm not going to answer that. It's just, let's keep it like this. Again, any book recommendations? This is journalism advice, rare. But anyway, so the question, yeah, that is a good question, because it's difficult for us now to really properly talk on that, because with Popular Front we've got a very good reputation, despite what Tom with the prostitute thing will tell you. We have good reputation. We've never burnt anyone. I know some people saying we burnt Jay Stark. I have said this to people. I file a FOIA request or the equivalent to the German police. I'll even pay for it. Bring me all the details. I'll pay for it. To find any, you try and find one single thing that is anything to do with us in his arrest, I'll pay for it. You will find nothing. I've everyone that's come to me and has said, oh, you fucking, it's your fault. I said, do the FOIA request, do your research to investigate, whatever. We'll pay for it. We'll help you. You'll find nothing. No one's ever done anything because I can't find shit. We didn't do anything. Everyone in that community knows it was nothing to do with us. It was to do with him not being careful with his spending, buying certain things. Anyway. But yeah, so we have a pretty good reputation. We haven't burnt anyone, and we now are at the point where if we contact someone, I think they look us up, but they talk to someone that they know someone that knows us, and they'll go like, yeah, that's good. But yeah, we do get, I contacted a group recently that it's not really conflict. I don't really want to say what the group does, but it's not conflict. It's something for a different project. I want to do something outside of war, but it's a kind of a violent group, but violent in a way of trying to stop people doing bad things with animals. Not like ELF or ALF or anything like that. Something different. Anyway, so I contacted them and, you know, I said, look, here's my reel, here's my work, here's what I've done before. Here's what I want to do with you guys, here's what I want to film. Have a think. That's what I said. Have a think about it. They never got back to me. They probably had a thought and thought, fuck him. Actually, I spoke to them before and they're very friendly. So they probably just thought, nah, we don't want to do it. So that's fine. That's cool. What can you do? But I think that's always a good way to be. Like, don't be that journo that's like the vulture. Don't be like, I want to do this. I want to do this. Some people will tell you have to do that. I really don't think. I mean, if you have to do that, I don't think it's really worth pursuing, but I have a different attitude to things, and I'm not like a beat reporter that has to churn work out every day. So I'm not saying those people are wrong or bad, but if you're talking about a long-term project, don't be like on someone's back, like henpecking them. Just say, look, here's what it is, here's what I want to do, here's who I am, here's what I've done. Nothing too long. No one wants to read your life story. No one actually gives a shit. They just want to know, are you genuine? Are you gonna I mean, everything's a two-way street as well. Everything's push and pull. They'll give you access, but why? Because they want to get their story out, and you want to tell the story because it's for you. So let's not pretend like they're going to be like, what benefit is this of me? Don't lay out what the benefit is of them. They will already know, but just say like, here's what I want to do. Here's why I want to do it. I will say, I've said to people as well, if there's any precautions you want to take that can make this happen, let me know. Maybe we can facilitate that. Don't say you'll do anything because that's not right, because they might be like, oh yeah, cool, do something like that's just not ethical. And it's like, no, you don't want to end up becoming a part of like a criminal organization by accident because you help them out too much. But yeah, I think be like that, be very honest, and just be very, very clear in what you want to do. A guy emailed me this morning. I very rarely reply to things like this, but it was so unbelievably rude. He was like, hi, I don't know what the fuck I want to do. You probably don't give a shit. Me and my friends want to do journalism. Give me some advice or whatever. And I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I just thought that was so rude. But the worst thing about it was just so unclear. Like, what? What do you want me to tell you? And I replied, I said, yeah, here's advice. Like, don't talk to people like this. It's just, you know, it's rude. Anyway. So yeah, that's how I would say things. Alright, my battery's down to like fucking 10%. Oh shit, okay, there's a new super chat. Again, you got about, even if you want to super chat, you got about like 5 minutes to do it. Dr. Bleed said, okay, I lied. I actually got some questions now. Plans for this year, like what you wish for and what seems realistic to do for Popular Front. That's not the thing, bro. So as if you see here, journalism advice. You know, if you got some advice you need as a journal, like coming up as a journalist or anything, or even coming up, just something you want, ask that. Don't really know what to tell you for this. Said it about 10 times, but to briefly answer your question, plans for this year, there's a documentary I want to do in Brazil with Tiago Deason. He's excellent. We made Sinaloa Foot Soldier with him and with Poria and them guys at 550 BC, but this will be a separate project with Tiago, me and Tiago, for Popular Front. And I will say is, so you might have ordered something from Popular Front and there's, I won't say a higher chance, but there's a possibility it didn't arrive. Problem with that, it's not us, it's the printers were fucking shit. Our dropshipper was shit. Got shit. Used to be good, got shit. Royal Mail is up the fucking wall. I sent something to Germany on the 11th of January. It hasn't even left the country yet. Royal Mail is fucked. England is fucked beyond belief. So there's various issues why you wouldn't get this, that, and the other. File a refund on PayPal if you want it back, if you didn't get it, whatever. It's all good. I always sort that out. If I didn't reply to you, I get about 200 emails every couple hours. You know what I mean? So, you know, just file the refund. But, so we have a company, Easy Day Studio, are really good people. They only work with people they want to work with, and they want to work with us. We want to work with them, definitely. And basically, they're going to take over the shop. We're gonna have actual people working for us as customer service within this deal. So if anything goes missing, you will get it back pronto, or whatever, it'll be solved. And what we're gonna do with the shop is we'll sell like staple gear. So there'll be a couple of t-shirts you can get all year round. But then after that, we're gonna do drops, like merch drops. So there'll be like a merch drop every 3 months, something like that, with a different theme each time. There'll be these 3 t-shirts probably each time, and we're gonna do all little different things. We've got a scarf. We're gonna do a football scarf with Clapton Punks, which is coming out in February. All sorts of different stuff like that. We're probably gonna put the cassette will go back out on sale. Got some more of them done. But the biggest thing we're going to be doing is, I think we're going to make an anthology of the zines, the 3 zines, like a hardback thing, or we're going to release the 3 zines as a collectible. I'm not sure which one. I think the anthology makes more sense. I was talking to Doyle about it, talking to the guys at Easy Days. But anyway, work that out. And then we're going to close the zine. There will be no more zines. Then Popular Front will become, the zine will become a magazine. So the zine is, you know, kind of do it yourself, DIY. Everything we do is fucking DIY, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit unprofessional here and there, which I didn't mind. I like the raw aspect of that. We flung it together in our spare time. We sold it ourselves. We put it together ourselves, got it printed, da-da-da. We're going to get into a point where we're going to do Popular Front will be a magazine then. Popular Front magazine, a big, proper one, every 3 months and quarterly. And there won't be a limited amount. There will be every 3 months. You can buy it for the full 3 months. And we're looking at talking to people where we think, I mean, already now the zine is available in some shops, but we're looking at the point where Popular Front, the magazine, might then be able to get stocked in like quite big places across England and America, like actual shops, the magazine. We'll see how that works out, but yeah, that's a good thing. So anyway, everything's going to get automated a lot nicer. Well, the opposite of automated. It's going to get proper people sorting it out. And you won't have any lost merch. And I'm going to work out some kind of token system where, like, if you lost merch in the past and you never got the refund, we'll sort it out. There's me running this, like 4 or 5 other people, like, work here and there on different bits. It's a fucking nightmare, but it's going to now be sorted out. So it's going to get real, like, teed up proper. And yeah, so that's, I guess, what's going ahead. What about the camo jacket? Yeah, the camo jacket. In fact, let me get it. So this will be. Dog's turned up. What's happening, man? So this will be. Oh, what is this camera? Fuck. Okay, so it will be like that. It won't be blurry. Incredible. Just awful. Just shoddy camera, man. Jesus. Okay, there you go. And then it's Champion. Yeah, so yeah, that's gonna be on sale when the new shop launches. Come. Look, my dog. Yeah, so that will be on sale. Ow, fuck. When the new shop goes out. Still waiting on my Britney shirt. We did say it. We posted so many times about that. Just to file a refund. The Britney shirt ain't never coming. If it didn't come, a load of them went out. What happened was Printful cancelled it because they said we weren't allowed to use Britney Spears. So then we had to get who was it in America did it for us? Fuck. Non-Toxic did it. They run Oracle Coffee Shop, one of our sponsors. Really cool people. We're gonna be doing a Popular Front coffee thing soon with them. Is there anything you think, Superchat? Is there anything you think you are? What the fuck? The battery's dying. All right. Is there anything you think are dead certs when negotiating terms with a fixer? Like what you expect off of them? That's a very, very good question. Now we're talking. Yeah, so with a fixer, I was telling someone this the other day. So a fixer sometimes, especially like real good ones, be like, don't worry about the money, we'll sort that afterwards. No. Sort that out before, because you don't want to be stung afterwards. Not that they'll sting you, but you know, it can happen. Everyone's everyone. So first off, sort out how much, what's the day rate, or if it's not, most fixers will work on a day rate. If they don't work on a day rate, find out what's going on. Some reporters like my good friend Habat Abbas does a lot of work in Rojava, Syria. She's incredible. You can work out great deals with her. But yeah, don't let that lie. Make sure you know the money first. And if someone says, don't worry about it, why are you talking money? Don't be afraid to talk money. I hated speaking money for so many years, and I just learned you have to. That's how things work. So don't be afraid to talk money. Just say, right, we want you for this many days. Here's what we want from you. Obviously, there'll be things that they can't get, and there'll be things they can get, and there'll be things they might promise to get, and then it won't happen. It will fall through. That's not necessarily their fault. Sometimes things like that happen. I've had loads of shoots where it's just fallen to bits, but a good fixer will then find something else, and a good fixer usually has one or two things as a backup if X thing falls apart. Sometimes it just happens and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes a fixer ain't working very hard and they don't give a fuck. I've worked with fixers that have, especially around like Iraq war times, some fixers that just didn't give a shit because they wouldn't give a shit for you, you know, but they would give a shit if CNN or whoever came and put the big money in, and they would just give you like offcuts, and it's like you don't want that. You know, which is fine, I get it, whatever. People have got to eat, they got to survive, but I don't want to work with someone like that. I want to work with someone where it's kind of a mutual project, you know. It's not just they're our fixer. Most of the good fixers are field producers, and I say to them as well, like, would you rather work in like a field producer type role, or you a fixer, or what? You know, some say I'm just a fixer, whatever. They'll just get you from here to there. But yeah, other things to expect from a fixer as well, if you're paying them right, and you have to pay them before as well. If they're doing some recce, like say they spend 2 days sorting out paperwork, getting this and that, don't think you don't have to pay for that. You do. You know, if they work, they get paid, you know. That's how it is. If you're at the table, you eat. That's how it has to be. A lot of people try and skirt that into the full price of the thing and then get mad when a fixer's like, hang on, you owe me 2 more days. No, I don't, because we weren't out there. No, if they work, they get paid. You get them to do more translation when you get home, they get paid. You know, it works like that. So work that out, make sure that's all clear. Or you might have a package deal where you say, hey, look, we'll give you this much up front if you got the wedge for it. We'll give you this much. You do all this, tie it in with us. We want the paperwork, we want the visa sorted out, and then we want you to do a bit of translation work for us afterwards when we get back and we're ready to make the film or the article or whatever the fuck. Cool. No problem. Or they say, no, I'm not fucking doing that. Okay, cool. At least you know where you stand. We'll do this. Try and get a fixer with a car, or a fixer that's access to a driver. That's always a good thing. And find out what car it is. You don't want to be driving up to the front line in a Ford Buick. You know what I'm saying? How much harder do you think it's been to stay independent like Popular Front has? Extremely difficult. And I hate to go on about it, but the financial situation is a struggle when you get to the point where Popular Front is. I think it's fair to say we're well known now. Like, it's crazy, some of the, like, when we started doing the live events, like in-person events over last year, I couldn't fucking believe how many people were coming. We sold out every single one. I was like, wow, it's very cool. So, you know, and man, recently, last year, I was just like sitting in London. I was having a coffee waiting for my mate, and then I see a lad just ride down the road on a push bike in a Popular Front t-shirt, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, it blew me away. Things like that. It's good you can weigh your, you know, I think popularity or whatever on that. But anyway, we're getting to a point now. It's getting big. It's getting biggish, not big, but it's getting known, and it's very hard to then keep the momentum at the same pace if the monetary situation isn't the same, because you want to do bigger and better, right? You don't want to just keep doing the same thing. That's stale. But it's good. It's getting there. So, but that's my advice. What my point is, if you are independent, bear that in mind. You know. This is the last question I'll answer because I've got 3% battery and I can't plug it in because my fucking laptop only has 2 ports and I've got the webcam and the mic, the mixer. How Ye asked, have you ever been a fixer for someone else's project? Yes, a lot of times. I wouldn't say in that case I'm necessarily I guess I am the fixer. I've been a fixer for other things. I kind of worked as like the co-producer for the Women's War thing. I did a lot of work on that. And I guided a lot of it. You know, don't get me wrong, Robert Evans is great, knows what he's doing, but he hadn't been to Rojava. He didn't know the Kurdish situation as well as I did, especially back then. And so I worked as like a kind of a consultant, maybe, kind of on it, I would say. But maybe a kind of fixer. And there's certainly, I've done a lot especially in the last year or two, where people have gone, hi Jake, I need access to this thing, can you help? Sometimes like no, sometimes yes. So I guess that could be considered a fixer, but I don't ever charge for that. I probably should, to be honest. I was thinking about starting a consultancy kind of thing a while ago, but I wouldn't know how to get that out into the world where I get paid for giving people advice and that kind of shit. I guess this is kind of it in a way. Fuck knows. Anyway, thank you all very much. Really do appreciate that. We made a ton on this super chat, man. That's literally going to pay for... That will probably pay for the flights to Brazil, actually. Like, that's mad. One super chat. I got 1% battery. PD187. No question. Just want to donate to the Buy Jake a Mac Doc fund. Yes, I should do that. I will do that. Actually, that's a good idea. I will do that. They're not that expensive. I'm not. Appreciate your time. Stay safe. Thanks. I'm not like, oh, I can't eat. Like, it's not like that. I just, I need to just get my shit in gear. Anyway, thank you all so much. Really do appreciate it. I will do this again. It's been another successful one. Take the advice. Don't take the advice. Remember, I'm just, Irish speaker here, yeah? Cool. That's cool. Slan. All right. But, yeah, just take my advice. Don't take my advice. It's up to you. Seriously, it's up to you. I don't think I'm the best. I don't think I know everything, but I have enough experience in it. Been fairly successful with this, and that's how it is. Anyway, thanks everybody. Speak soon. How the fuck do I stop? Oh, here, stop streaming.